Good afternoon, everyone. We're a little bit running late today, but we're on track now. My name is Phil Tachi. I'm a registered migration agent, and I am working with Aussie Education, running the migration team here. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about the GTI visa and why, what is it? Why is it good? Why do you want one? How long is it going to take you to get one? What are the requirements? The eligibility criteria? We're going to go through everything today. Okay. Let me just change my screen. We've got a few slides to look at. Feel free also to ask any questions that you want in the stream, and we'll try to get them answered as quickly as possible as well. Alrighty. So the Global Talent Independent Visa, you probably heard about it. Everybody says GTI visa, GTI visa. It's the hot topic right now. It's a very popular visa, and for good reason. So let's have a look and see what we're going to talk about today. So the GTI visa, what is it? We're going to also talk about why you would want one, how you're going to get one, what are the fees involved, some of the statistics about the GTI visa, and then we'll sum up and then we'll kind of go through some of the key points. So the GTI visa, what is it? The Global Talent Independent Visa, it's a priority visa pathway. Okay, so it's getting skilled, highly skilled individuals to come to Australia permanently. So it's a direct PR visa for highly skilled applicants. We're going to go into detail about each of these points, about what constitutes a highly skilled individual, and who's going to be eligible for that. The Australian government, wants to attract top talent in a certain bunch of sectors in Australia, so they can boost critical industries. Okay, that's going to help our economic recovery post COVID-19. And it's also going to allow Australian businesses, by getting all of these experts and highly skilled applicants, to be able to further Australian research and innovation and try to become more of a leader on a global scale. So what are these target sectors? So there's 7 target sectors that this visa applies to, okay? They want highly educated, in some respects experienced, but mostly leaders and experts in their field in the following sectors. Okay, so you've got ag tech, so agriculture technology, space and advanced manufacturing, financial technology, energy and mining technology, medical technology, cybersecurity, and then you've got your ICT related stuff such as quantum information, data science, etc. So a quick recap on this. The GTI visa is a direct permanent residency pathway. Okay, it's for highly skilled individuals that are experts and leaders in their field. It's a priority pathway with very fast processing times. We're going to talk a little bit later on about just how quickly these visas are getting processed. And it's covering these 7 target sectors that Australia really wants to focus on. So the question is, why would you want one? Obviously, direct permanent residency. Very, very good. You can't argue with that. As soon as your visa gets approved, you're a permanent resident. It's got priority processing, which is very short processing times. We're going to talk a little bit soon about the process that's involved with this visa, but I can tell you, just a rule of thumb, they're taking between 3 to 4 months for processing. That's like onshore and offshore. Might be a little bit more due to COVID, but it's still very, very quick in comparison to many other visas. It has an extended age limit. So as you know, many visas in Australia, many skilled visas, the age limit's 45, okay? But for this visa, you've got this 18 to 55 age limit. So it extends that age limit. And also there are opportunities outside of this age bracket if there is an exceptional benefit to Australia. So yeah, you can be over 55 or you can be under 18. So you can apply for this visa both onshore and offshore. Very importantly, there is no sponsorship required. Okay, so a business does not need to sponsor you or give you a employment where you'll have to work there. No, you just need a nominator, and we're going to talk about what a nominator is going to do, what their obligations are. Um, a very, very important fact is that the government has tripled this program. Okay, tripled the numbers for this program. Last year it was 5,000 applicants. This year they're going to be doing 15,000 applicants. So it's a very desirable visa right now. There may be possibilities of PR without work experience. So for PhD students, some of them may be eligible to get this visa whilst complete, like at the end of their PhD. So if you're within the last 6 months of your PhD, you can still be eligible for this visa. You don't need to go out and hit the workforce and prove that you are, an industry leader, international reputation. You can do it without work experience. It is possible. There's no need to rely on point scores of other visas. So the skilled migration program, you all know about this 189 visa, 190 visa, 491 visa, and it's all based on points. This is not how it works with this visa. So you don't have to worry about, okay, instead of getting a 7 in English, I need to get an 8. Instead of getting 1 year work experience, I need to get 3. No, it's not about points with this visa, okay? There are also possibilities with lower English scores, okay? You don't need to have 8. You don't need to have 7. You don't need to have 6. There is a minimum required for the visa, but remember, it's about assessing your situation to ensure you're eligible for this visa. We're going to talk about it in a minute. So this all sounds good, okay? There are many pros to this visa, not many cons. And the next question is, how are you going to get it? So the process on face value looks very easy, okay? It looks simple. You need to apply, okay, to receive a unique identifier. So you basically submit an expression of interest to the global talent team. And you must secure a nominator. And if you do those two things successfully, you'll be able to apply for the visa. But it's actually much more complicated than that, okay? The expression of interest that you need to submit, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of research that needs to go into it. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. It's a very complex process to be done right. Securing a nominator also is something that's very important, and we'll speak more about this in a moment. So to be eligible to apply for this visa with the expression of interest, you need to prove that you are internationally recognized with evidence of outstanding achievements. You need to be prominent in your field of expertise. So you still need to be, I guess, relevant. You need to be particularly within the last 2 years, to be prominent in your field. You need to provide evidence that you would be an asset to Australia. Okay, so why in your industry, why would you be an asset to Australia in that very industry? You need to show that you have no difficulty obtaining employment in Australia. And we're going to talk about what kind of evidence you need to show for this, or what kind of evidence is considered. You need to have a recognised organisation or individual in Australia to nominate you, okay, in the same field. So for example, if you were a data scientist and you were a prominent data scientist, you would need to get an Australian a nominee, sorry, an Australian nominator to nominate you to basically acknowledge your expertise. And we're going to speak about nominators in a couple of slides' time. So the candidates must meet a high standard and show an exceptional track record of professional achievement. So this may include senior roles, patents, professional awards, international publications, and memberships. Okay, so being prominent in your field, you may be submitting journal articles, you may be getting published in certain periodicals. There's a whole lot that goes into this, and we can go through some of this criteria shortly. Importantly, the places are available to PhD graduates as well. So you can get this done with a master's, okay, and you can have a master's and be prominent in your field, okay, you can be an expert in your field, but you cannot be, you won't be classified as eligible if you're just have your education and nothing else when it's a master's. But with your PhD, you can be eligible just based on your education alone. Okay, so here it's saying that if you've done a PhD in the last 3 years, okay, there are possibilities there, as long as you can demonstrate that their thesis, the thesis that you've done, is going to, okay, is one, is in the target sector, but two, is going to help the requirements that you need to show that you're an exceptional talent, and you're going to be able to do a similar level in Australia as well. So continuing on, one of the most important criteria is you need to prove that you can attract a salary in Australia that is equal to or above the Fair Work high income threshold. So you need to prove that you can attract a salary in Australia of over 153,600 Australian. Okay. What kind of evidence do you need to show, or what can you show? So if you are currently working in a highly paid role, obviously you can show your pay slips, you can show your contracts of employment. If you are having future job offers, say you've got a job offer from Australia that's over this threshold, that's a very easy way to show that you are going to be able to attract that salary. But an important thing is market rate. So if, let's say you're in India and you're working in a very important, let's say it's a electrical engineering role, okay, you're at the height of your field in India, and you may not be getting paid the equivalent salary of 153,600, but the role that you are employed in, if it was in Australia, it would be over the 153,600 threshold. Okay, so if the role that you are working in, or you've got a job offer for in your home country or a third country, is attracting this salary kind of relative to Australian fair work high income threshold, then it may be eligible. Okay. And a side note is that a job offer from Australia is not a strict requirement. You don't have to have a job offer. It's great to have one. If you don't have a job offer, that's still fine. You also will need to show other evidence that supports you being able to get this salary in Australia. Okay. And remember, they're determining how likely you will be. So how likely you will be able to attract this salary based on what evidence you give them. So it's an evidence game. It's a documents game. Let's move on. Nominators. So I told you before, you do not need to have a sponsor per se. So you're not going to have to get sponsored by a business and then work at that business. No. With the nominator, You need to be nominated by an individual or an organization that is in your industry, okay, that has a national reputation in Australia. The role of the nominator is to attest to and endorse your skills and achievements, okay? So really what the role of the nominator is, they're going to say, yes, I know that this person's skill level, we know that they've got international recognition, we understand that they've received this award, or they've been published in this journal, or they've been part of this uh, conference, international conference, and they understand your level of achievement, and they endorse it and say, you know, this person is for real. They're not required to provide you with employment. Okay, so there's no obligation on them to give you a job or anything like that. They don't have to give you a job offer letter. No, they have to just attest to your skills and attest to your achievements. Again, the nominator needs to have a national reputation in the same field as the applicant, needs to be an Australian citizen or permanent resident, eligible New Zealand citizen or Australian organisation. So nominators continued, okay? Depending on what industry you're in, your nominator could be your university if you're studying in Australia. It could be your employer if you're working in Australia. If they have national recognition, then why not? It could be an industry body. Say, for example, you wanted to come on an ICT related role, then the Australian Computer Society could be your nominator because they would understand your achievements, they would understand your education. Or it could be an industry peer, so someone who is at the height of that industry in Australia, and they could nominate you. A number of factors can be assessed when you're determining the nominator's reputation in Australia. Okay, so they may look at factors such as the record of achievements, the leadership in the industry, professional associations with leading organisations and industry bodies, employment history, contribution to international journals, and participation in local and international conferences. So if you've got a nominator who kind of ticks off a few of these boxes, it could go a long way towards determining that they are in fact have a national reputation. So let's say that you've been successful in your expression of interest and you've secured a nominator. Now you'll be eligible to apply for the subclass 858 visa. This is the most straightforward stage, and it has very low chances of refusal. Once you've got your nominator, once you've got your expression of interest all sorted, the only thing you can do to kind of mess up your visa is to, have false or misleading information, have lied to the department, submitted bogus documents, something like this. The approval rate is very high on this visa, and the visa is actually very fast processing times, 1 to 2 weeks. So the expression of interest may take about 3 months to get by, but then after that, to lodge the visa application, it's only 1 to 2 weeks. So you're looking at about 3.5 months, maybe up to 4 months, maybe a little bit more due to COVID, but not too much more. It's still a priority and still has priority processing. So what are the department fees? Okay, so very similar to many of the other visas in the general skilled migration category. The main applicant is 4,110, dependent over 18, 2,055, and the dependent under 18, 1,030. Some nice stats. So remember, this is 7 target sectors. Okay, so last year they were looking at these percentages. So ICT related sector was obviously the biggest, 28%. But A really underutilized one, I think, is cybersecurity, with only 3% of applications being done for cybersecurity. So if you've got a master's in cybersecurity and you've written your thesis on that and you've been prominent in the industry and you're working in cybersecurity, there may be some possibilities for you. If you have a PhD in cybersecurity related studies, that's a very positive step towards this visa as well. So to summarize, this GTI visa, it's an excellent visa pathway. And obviously it's permanent residency straight away, has priority processing, really fast turnaround. It's got an extended age limit. So if you're over 45 and you thought, okay, I can never come to Australia, there are some possibilities here for you if you're eligible. It's got onshore and offshore applications, and there's no sponsor required. So we at Aussie Education have got a great team who have been working on several of these applications. We, under our director Satya Shukla, our experience is specifically in the ICT related ones. Um, if you have any questions regarding this, you think you may be eligible, you're not sure, you'd like to get your file assessed, your situation assessed to see if maybe you are eligible for this visa, then definitely drop us a line. We've got our contact details here. So you can contact us on 0406 107 107 if you're in Australia. There's obviously the Indian number and the Nepalese number there as well. Otherwise, send us an email on info@aussieeducation.com.au or even through our website at aussieeducation.com.au. We're here to help. We've got an experienced team with this visa type, and I think it's going to be very much the future for this type of migration. We've seen the numbers, dropping for general skilled migration. They're really focusing on getting highly skilled applicants to Australia. So we would not be surprised if this trend continues, where they put a lot of effort and a lot of allocation into these visas. So please give us a call if you have any questions, and we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, have a lovely day, and we'll speak to you soon, hopefully. Bye for now.